Every time I post a picture with this bag, I get so many questions, comments, and even DMs wondering how this bag has been holding up, which is of course the Chanel 22 bag. And I kind of forgot about all the controversies that surrounded the launch of this bag, especially when it came to certain quality issues that some customers experienced. So I figured it's time for me to share with you my updated review on this bag after using it for a handful of months. I want to say it's been close to 6 months at this point. I wanted to share with you some additional insights I couldn't in my original review, which if you have not seen my original deep dive on this bag, I will make sure to have it listed and linked in the info box. I share with you everything that there is to know about the Chanel 22 bag family, the different sizes, mud shots, and even close-ups. And today I wanted to share with you what my experience has been like, how this bag has been holding up, and also everything that fits in the large Chanel 22 bag, because I am going to the gym straight after this. So I thought it might be fun for me to share with you what's in my gym bag. Now, this is not my usual gym bag, but if I don't carry bags to the gym, I'm not going to carry them full stop because I don't really go any other place. So this is the bag that's coming with me today, and I thought it might be fun for me to share with you everything that you can actually fit into this large and in charge tote bag. So if you'd like to hear my updated review on the Chanel 22 bag and whether or not I think it's worth the insane price tag, or if I ever thought it was worth it, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and keep on watching. Whether you love it or hate it, if you're into luxury fashion, this is a bag style that I'm sure you're going to be familiar with, which is of course the Chanel 22 bag. This is a bag that launched in 2022, as the name suggests, and it has been an incredibly popular bag since. I'm not sure if everyone loves this bag. I feel like you either love or hate this bag. There are very few people who are neutral when it comes to this particular design. I was definitely a hater at the beginning, but I do have to admit that it is quite a special shape for a luxury brand to come out with. At this point, it is available in a handful of different sizes. So the smallest size is the mini Chanel 22 bag, which measures 20 centimeters. Personally, it is my least favorite take on this particular style, because what I love about this is how easy, effortless, and casual it is. I love the fact that it's so soft and so slouchy, and it's just kind of a too cool to care kind of bag. And I think it loses that when it comes to the mini size. I know a lot of people love that because it comes with a longer chain, which allows you to carry it crossbody. But it is just not my favorite take on this particular design. I feel like it's trying to be too many things. It's trying to keep its cool effect while also being a mini bag, and for me those two things just don't go hand in hand. But if you love a mini bag, I know it has been insanely popular. It's available in a ton of new finishes and textures, so that is something that is still very much around. And as I mentioned, it measures 20 centimeters. Then the next size up is the small Chanel 22, which measures 35 centimeters if I'm not mistaken, which I do think is a much better size. It is still a small bag, but you're not losing that sort of shopper, really casual hobo style that this bag is known and loved for. Then you have the medium size, which is also called the regular Chanel 22, which measures 39 centimeters. And then this is the large Chanel 22 bag, which I don't want to start any rumors because I am no Chanel insider, but I have been having a hard time finding this on the site. I wanted to get the exact measurements for this bag before I started filming, and I could not find this on the Chanel website, which leads me to believe that this bag is not currently being produced. Let me know. Please feel free to correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong about that. But I don't think that this size is currently being offered, which I would not be surprised by because it is really a gigantic bag, and I will definitely talk about that when I move on to the pros and the cons of this bag. And then there is a slightly different style, which is the Chanel 22 backpack. Personally, if I was to buy this bag now, I would definitely go for the regular size, so the original medium Chanel 22, which measures 39 centimeters, if I'm not mistaken. And that is the perfect segue into discussing how I have been enjoying this bag, because one thing that I don't really like about this bag is how extremely gigantic it is. And for reference, I am 5'11", so I wouldn't say that I'm tall, but I'm not short either. I'm just average height, and this bag is disproportionately large on me. Not only because of the body of the bag, obviously it is a gigantic bag. I mean, some people could actually carry this as a duffel, but also because of the structure of this bag. So the first thing that I would love to point out is the drawstring mechanism. So when you carry this bag, obviously because it has such a large body, you're kind of encouraged to fill it. Even if you don't have that much that you need, you'll still keep putting things in there. Otherwise it will just look empty and it will collapse in on itself. And you kind of need to put things in here. So even if you don't need too much stuff, you'll still put more things in there just because you have the space. Otherwise, why would you need such a big bag? And to be really honest, this is a really light bag to begin with. So unless you really pack it with bricks, it will not be too heavy. But the more you put in here, the more this bag will sag. And as this bag starts sagging, the top part, this hem here, which the chain runs through, will start gathering and gathering and gathering, which actually makes the chains longer, because you can play around with the length of the chain. You can make it slightly shorter or slightly longer depending on how much you gather this top part of the bag. But if you pack it too much, obviously gravity will start pulling this bag down, and then the chain will become longer and longer. And on me personally, the chain just becomes a really awkward length. So that is something that I don't particularly appreciate about this bag. So if I was to buy this bag now, I would definitely go for the medium size. And then when it comes to how this bag has worn, I know that some people had issues with this top part, with the edges rubbing and tearing. I don't have any of those issues. Maybe I'll do some close-ups for you, but it is still in immaculate condition. The stitching isn't coming apart. I don't see any tears, and it's not a bag that I have babied in any shape or form. And I really cannot point out any quality issues. In fact, the corners don't even look worn yet. So yeah, I really don't have any quality issues. Something that I was concerned about is the letters, because obviously it spells out Chanel here on the front, which is one of the first things that I pointed out about this bag as a main con. But to be really honest with you, it really didn't bother me that much, because if I don't want to show off the Chanel branding, I can really easily turn it around, because the back is completely plain and you still have the incredible quilting, but the Chanel spelling is only on the front, and these letters are not moving. These did not fall off. So I have to admit, I'm really quite impressed with the quality. The leather, which is an incredibly smooth but quite glossy calfskin, is still very soft. I don't have any scratches or marks on this leather. Unfortunately, it has not gone any more matte. I was hoping that it would go slightly more matte, which has not happened, but it hasn't gone more shiny either. Now, something that I was really surprised to see is that Chanel also introduced this bag in caviar leather. I think it was last year, and I am definitely partial to caviar leather, but caviar was only offered in the medium size, and at the time I was much more drawn to the large size. Now, knowing what I know today, I would prefer the medium size in caviar leather. And one more detail that I really liked about this bag in caviar is that the Chanel emblem was also tone on tone, which made it a lot more subtle. And that bag was offered, I think, in a few different colors, including pink, red, and black is of course the one that I would have gone for. Because another thing that I don't really like about this bag, which I'm still torn about, is how glossy this leather looks, especially in black. If you really pack this bag and you see the top part gathering, it will definitely give you kind of a trash bag inspired look, which is just the name of the game when it comes to this bag. I don't think that is the first thing that comes to mind when you see this bag in any other color, but in black, because of this really highly glossy finish and the drawstring detail, to me it does remind me of a trash bag every now and again. So it's something that you have to look past if you're going to be getting this bag. But I think it is a very special style for a luxury brand like Chanel to come out with, because it's completely different from what we are accustomed to seeing from Chanel. It's a lot more relaxed, it's a lot more unstructured, it's more laid back, casual. You know, when I think of Chanel, I think of a classic flap or even a boy bag, which are all really kind of pretty and proper bags. Even the boy bag, which is definitely on the edgy side, to me it still feels like quite a feminine bag. Whereas this feels a lot more bohemian, a lot more laid back. It's one of those bags that you can just toss all your essentials into, shove it over your shoulder, and be on the go. It's not a bag that you really have to or want to worry about. I think it looks best when it's really being used, loved, and almost abused. That's the point of this bag. It is a truly functional creation, which is not the first thing that comes to mind when I personally think of Chanel. Yet it is true to the brand's DNA. You have the quilting, you have the incredible chain detail, which I don't think anyone does chains quite like Chanel does. I still don't like this charm, which reminds me of a belly dancer, but it's there. I shared with you in my original review that you can actually tuck this into this little channel that the chain goes through, but when you pack this bag and the chain comes out, so will the charm. I have not removed this. It's still not my favorite, but it's something that you definitely get used to. But going back to the Chanel DNA, you have the quilting, you have the incredible glossy leathers, and then you have the chain detail, which I still prefer just a regular leather handle. But I think this is what makes this bag quite special, and I actually find this really comfortable. I don't find that this falls off my shoulders too often, but do keep in mind that it is not perfectly intact, and while you do have some flexibility that you can play around with it, if you pack this bag too much, it will eventually drag the bag down and make the strap a little bit longer. So if you are looking at this in the store, make sure that you really gather the top part so you see how long the chain really is, because when they hand you this at the store, obviously it's just packed with some tissue paper, or maybe it's completely empty, and the length of the strap will be quite deceiving. I wish I had known that. So that is a pro tip if you're looking at this bag, because obviously the chain length is different on every single size. And without further ado, let's see what I carry in this bottomless pit. One of the most gigantic Chanel bags. I feel like Chanel could have really easily named this bag the black hole of Chanel bags, because it fits an insane amount. I mean, I feel like if you are looking for a duffel bag alternative or even a weekend bag, but you don't want to go for a traditional style, if you find a traditional duffel bag too overwhelming, this is something that you could honestly look into, because it fits an insane amount. I mean, you'll see how much stuff I have in here, and it's still not bursting at the seams. I could fill this even more if I really wanted to. In fact, I'll probably put another pair of shoes in here, which will fit just perfectly. Anyway, I'm going to the gym right after this, and I am going to be doing a yoga class and then some weight training. So I have more stuff in here than usual. Anyway, let's see what's on top. So the first thing, as I mentioned, I'm going to be doing yoga. So I do have my yoga towel in here. My favorite yoga towel is by Elo. If you have no idea what a yoga towel is, it's meant for studios, yoga studios that provide you with the mat. But if you don't want to, you know, do your practice on a yoga mat that other people use, even though most places clean their mats, this is just a nice barrier between you and the mat, and also it makes the mat a little bit less slippery. I have tried many different yoga towels, but the one by Elo is my favorite because it has the most grip. And by the way, it smells amazing. I have been so obsessed with those detergents that I shared with you in, was it in my last unboxing? The tallow and ash detergents and fabric softeners are some of the best discoveries that I have made recently. They make my clothes smell so incredible. I love the oud scent, and date night is my other favorite. I know that many of you have given them a try, so could you let me know in the comment section what scent you ended up going for, because I tried almost every single one of their scents. Oud and date night are by far my favorites. But I also like Celestial, I think it's called, which is supposed to smell like Mugler's Alien. I love that scent, personally, it's a little bit too floral and jasmine heavy for me, but if I enjoyed jasmine on myself, it's definitely a scent that I would also try. Anyway, if you bought the tallow and ash detergents and fabric softeners based on my recommendation, can you please let me know which scent you went for? I am so curious to hear. Anyway, it smells amazing. I think I used Celestial on this and it smells lovely, but personally it is just a little bit too floral for me. But I do love I actually love the Aloe yoga mats, but this is just the yoga towel because my gym actually has mats available. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be doing 2 different classes, so I do need a change of shorts. My favorite shorts are by Aloe. These are the 5-inch running shorts. They are lined, but I find them to be the most comfortable and also most flattering shorts. I am working on an active wear video, which you will see from me, I'm hoping next week. So I share with you my in-depth review on Aloe. I'll compare them to some other more popular high-end gym brands, but I do love their shorts. And then in here, yeah, I should have the matching top. So I can link this down below for you. I do have the Aloe workout top in the same color. They do have several different fabrics that they use and several different fits, but this is my favorite. So stay tuned for my in-depth review on Aloe. Of course, I'll share with you all the details and my favorite colors, favorite styles, the differences between the different fabrics in that video. But if you cannot wait until then, all of these will be linked in the info box for you. Next up, I do have my water bottle in here. Hydration is key, of course, especially if you are going to be doing hot yoga. Speaking of hot yoga, my hair will probably be ruined, so I'll have to put on a hat. This is one of my favorite hats from Lululemon. They do offer several different, I should say, caps. They do several different types and styles of caps, but this is my favorite. I have tried most of them, but I do think that is the best one. Next up, let me see what's in here. I do have some electrolytes. I don't think I'm going to be needing these today, but I just have them in my bag. These are by the brand Waterdrop. They do these in several different flavors. I like the blueberry one. And then I also like, what's the other flavor that I like? I think it's blood orange, but I do love the water drops. If you have never seen these before, they do different types of water drops. These are just basically little capsules or tablets that you can put in your water bottle and then they dissolve, and these have added electrolytes, which I mainly use for running. I'm not going to be using those today. Then I have a pair of sunglasses in here. These are, I think, just a pair of aviators by Saint Laurent, a really simple black pair of aviators that I also use for running if it's really sunny, but I'm not going to be doing running today and it's not even sunny. Next up, I do have a watch band. So you probably know this by now and you're tired of listening to me talking about my Apple Watch, but I'm a recent convert of the Apple Watch. And I also bought the matching watch band from Hermes, but it's made of leather, so it's not something that I really want to wear for working out. Not because I'm worried about the quality, but it's just not the most comfortable, especially if you get really sweaty. So I also carry one of my sports bands, which is not one that came with my Apple Watch. It's something that I bought separate, but I think it is called the Sport Loop. This is by Apple and it is an insanely comfortable watch band. I wear this not only for working out, but also for sleeping. I do sleep with my Apple Watch just so it can track my sleep pattern, and this is a strap that I have really been enjoying. So I have this in here, so when I go to the gym I can just switch from my Hermes strap into my sport band. Next up, we're getting really personal today. I have my deodorant in here. This is the Glossier deodorant in the scent Sandstone. They offer this in 4 different scents. There's Sandstone, Glossier You, which is their iconic scent. They do this in Orange Blossom, and then I think they have an unscented version. Personally, I cannot use this deodorant on its own. It's just not strong enough for me. So this is something that I use as a top up, and then at night before going to bed, I use just a standard, you know, not natural deodorant, but one that is invisible. You want to make sure that if you wear as much black as I do, you use a deodorant that's actually invisible and it's not going to leave a white mark behind. I can't remember where mine is from, but it's just from like a standard drugstore brand and it does the trick. And I also prefer women's deodorants over men's deodorants because I find that they are not trying as hard as a men's deodorant to make you smell good, because I don't want my deodorant to interfere with my fragrance. So I do like the Glossier one, but I can only use that for topping up when I go to the gym. Speaking of scents, the next thing I have in here is a little bottle of the Raw fragrance oil, which I have talked about many times before. I love this scent. It's one of the most unique fragrance oils that I have ever tried, but it is way too expensive for what it is. I think this tiny vial of fragrance is like, I don't want to exaggerate, but I think it's like $500-600, something along those lines. And it really doesn't last long enough for it to be worth it, in my opinion at least. So as much as I love the scent, which by the way, this is W, so this is their more woodsy scent. They have R, O, and W. R is inspired by roses. O, I think, is a more fresh green scent, and then W is one of the richest, darkest, most woodsy scent that I have ever smelled, and it just basically smells like an old dusty church, which actually smells a lot better than it sounds in my opinion, but I would not buy this again. I'm glad I tried it, but it's not going to be a repurchase. Then I think we're getting to the bottom of this bag. And by the way, this bag has no dividers on the inside. You do have a single inside pocket, and then you also get a little pouch in there, but I'm not using the pouch because I feel like it always just sinks to the bottom of the bag. I would much rather have another pocket in there, but you only get one pocket on the back here, which we'll move on to in just a second, so you can see everything that fits into that pocket. And then the last things I have in here, I do have my cosmetic pouch, which if you saw my Celine unboxing, you may remember that I bought a pouch, a cosmetic pouch from Celine specifically for the gym. I bought the large size in that unboxing, which was way too big. So I ended up exchanging it for the medium size, but it was still too big for me to use in my everyday bags, and especially because they're more structured, I felt that they took up way too much space. So I ended up just buying this really soft pouch bag from Lululemon, which I have really been enjoying. I can show you really quick what's in here in case you're interested. So these are just some of my beauty essentials that I want to use I want to have with me if I'm going to take a shower at the gym. So the first thing that I have here is a tiny cleanser. My favorite brand for skincare is Paula's Choice. I do have an in-depth video on my skincare routine, which I think it's actually the same video as my Celine unboxing. So again, I can make sure to link that in the info box for you. But Paula's Choice is the brand that I always go back to. So I have one of their cleansers here. I have their exfoliating toner from the Calm line. So this has 1% salicylic acid, which is amazing at keeping breakouts at bay. And then I have a tiny moisturizer in here. This is by a brand called Uriage. I think I bought this at a drugstore when I was traveling. I think it's a French brand. I don't have any other products from this brand, but this said anti-redness cream, and I do have rosacea, so redness is something that I struggle with. It does the trick, but it's not something that I would repurchase or that makes me intrigued to try more from this brand. I do of course have sunscreen in here because sunscreen is the one thing that I swear by. I never leave my apartment without sunscreen, so I use an SPF 50 every day, all day. Then I have my hair gel. My favorite hair gel is by Kevin Murphy. This is the mini travel size, but I have of course the big tub in my bathroom. Then I have tissues. You never want to be without tissues. And then I have an eye patch in here, which I got after my eyelid surgery. And that is everything that I have in this pouch. If you're looking for a great no-fuss wash bag or cosmetic pouch, Lululemon does these in a ton of different sizes. I think they have 2 different styles, but I definitely prefer this one. So again, if you're interested, let me know and I can link this down below for you. And then let me see if there's anything else. Yep, there are a few more bits here. I have more tissues. I have gum. Also, this is another thing about me. I always have gum with me. I love chewing on something, so I love having some chewing gum. And then, of course, my AirPods. That is a must-have. Let me throw everything else back in here where I can show you what this bag looks like when it's not filled. It collapses completely flat, so I think this would also be a great bag to travel with if you just want a bag that you can shove in your suitcase and is going to lay completely flat this is not a bag that you would ever have to worry about, and I'm telling you, it weighs virtually nothing. The heaviest detail on this bag is, as you would expect, the chain. Other than that, the leather is featherweight. And then this is the hook that you would attach either your keys or the pouch onto that comes with this bag, which I don't use. But then, as I mentioned, you do have a pocket on the back that you can, well, it's in the back, it's on the inside, it's not on the outside, that you can also take advantage of, which is pretty full. So I have my Glossier Strawberry Lip Balm, which is one of my favorite lip balms. This is the latest launch from Glossier. I love all Glossier lip balms, but this is by far my favorite flavor. It has the most artificial candy-like flavor. Now, I'm not big on candy. I don't eat sugar, so I don't eat candy, but this kind of gives me that little bit of a candy flavor in my life. I have a tiny little jewelry pouch in here. I don't think there's anything in here, but I carry this with me. So if I take any rings to the gym, I can take them off and put them in here. Then I have a keto bar. These I get from Holland & Barrett, and these are one of my favorites. These are the Good To Go keto bars in vanilla almond. I love anything and everything almond flavored and almond scented, so it's not surprising that I would have an almond bar in here. And then, let me see, I have another case for sunglasses in here, a soft case. I have my Loro Piana card holder. I really have not been carrying wallets with me. I've only really been carrying a card case, and even this I could go without, but I do love a simple card holder, and this one from Loro Piana I would highly encourage you to look into. I mean, I would encourage you to look at all of Loro Piana's SIGs because I think they are incredibly underrated, especially considering the quality, the leathers they use, and the prices. I really think that they are quite reasonably priced. I have more gum. And then the last thing I have in here, it's something new that I have been trying. And I have most of it in my kitchen, but I guess I have some of these that I can take with me when I'm on the go. And this is a supplement for digestion. Might be too much information, but I have the most sensitive tummy. Like if I eat something out of the ordinary, something that I'm not used to, I get so insanely bloated that it's kind of painful. So I am going to be giving this supplement a try, which is called Gut Day, and then they also do Gut Night, which is by a smaller startup supplement brand. And my friends, this is everything that I had in this gigantic Chanel bag. As I mentioned, if you are looking for a large and in charge tote and you are a big Chanel fan, look no further because this bag has got you covered. I really think that it would make an amazing travel bag, as long as you don't mind something that is a little bit more over the top and more recognizable. Or if you just need a large bag for work, this really fits a ton. And as I mentioned, I am also going to be putting a pair of sneakers in here. But yeah, overall, I really cannot complain about this bag as long as you like the way it looks. It has my seal of approval. But I would love to hear your thoughts on this bag. Do you think that it is worth the money? Are you a fan of this particular design? Do you own this bag? Would you consider this bag? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you have any questions, make sure to leave them down below those as well, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. But this is everything I had for today. I think the next videos that you'll see from me, I don't want to make any promises, but I am working on a deep dive on Goyard, which I have been working on for a little while. I was hoping I could go to a couple more Goyard stores before I filmed that, but I don't see myself doing that anytime soon. So I think I might do that video for you. I mean, I already have my opinions formed on Goyard. I've had those for many years, so that is coming. And then I was really surprised to hear how many of you wanted to see a video on some high-end activewear from me. So that is also coming. Those are the two videos that I'm hoping to film in the near future. But if there are any other videos that you'd like to see from me, let me know in the comment section. I always love hearing from you. And while you're down there, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I really appreciate you being here and watching, and I will see you back here with a new video really, really soon.